Alright, good East positioning of the sun, everybody. The name's Bluefang. I'm a massive fighting game fan, despite the fact I suck at everything I play. And I have with me a flavored fellow who's much better at these games. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, it's my Pop Tart, and yeah, I've been a fan of fighting games ever since I was a little kid. Been playing Smash Bros for forever. But another one of my favorites is Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and since we both play it and we both watch Dragon Ball, we were like, yeah, it's pretty simple.
So, what this is since Daima Goku got added to Dragon Ball Fighter Z, we sat to ourselves and we thought, what other fighters could get added to Dragon Ball Fighter Z for DLC candidates? And we came up with 18 characters who we think are worthwhile inclusions and could make an actual moveset for Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Right. However, with the state of Dragon Ball Fighter Z now and the fact that Tokon is on the horizon, don't take these as predictions because most likely these are never going to happen.
Yeah, this is just if it this is just okay, let's see. We just wanted to have fun with this.
Exactly. I'm ready. Let's get started.
All right, so the very first candidate and the most obvious candidate in my opinion since Daima Goku was added, you can't have a Goku variant without a Vegeta variant with Daima Vegeta.
Diamond Vegeta is going to be your stereotypical rushdown, but he can also have a bit of ranged options as a kid. See, in his Tamagami fight, he used a like a majority key blast attacks. So we decided, as a transformation character, it would also transform his playstyle.
So, yes, the main thing I noticed in his Tamagotchi fight was that he struggled with his lack of range since he was smaller, and he primarily used Ki Blast getting good damage, so we figured that we would make him kind of a transformation install character. He would start out as a child, and for one bar, he'd turn into Super Saiyan as a kid, so, still projectiles, but for two more bar, he gets to go Super Saiyan 3 as an adult, and this is where he starts to play more comfortably, that he can go in and get some actual good hits. A lot faster, a lot better combos. This is a character that wants to stay a whale until he can transform and wail on you.
Yeah, and given the fact that like Vegeta always gets some sort of duo with Goku, it felt obvious. Plus, Daima is the most recent animated version of Dragon Ball, so we needed another character from it, and it was between him and King Goma, and of course, we chose Vegeta.
Because you can't have a Goku without a Vegeta. But moving on from Daima, let's move on to what is forever and always going to be the most popular Dragon Ball related anything, Z, with its very first villain, Raditz.
Raditz is the very first character that I believe should have been added to the base game. Not even as DLC to the base game, just in base game. Because without Raditz, Dragon Ball would not have gotten to as high a scale as it does now.
Yeah, that is true. Raditz was really the major changing point for this, from being a goofy show that has martial arts to pure martial arts. The stakes are always getting higher and higher. And Raditz, even though he is a simple character, he's still needed.
Exactly. What his playstyle will be like is a tank. Not exactly like a rushdown character, but he will want to stay in close, keep like pressing you with damage. But he's got no real good key blast options. He's not got any really good beam options. He's just gonna try and slug you the entire time.
Try to think of an all-arounder mixed with a grappler speed and strength. Like, he can do everything, but there's a certain playstyle he likes.
Right. And with his level one, he's gonna just rush in and do some sort of combo move. Maybe just absolutely dog walking the opponent. And of course, his level three has to be the all iconic double Sunday.
Double Sunday! But yeah, he's just an Unga Bunga bro. The only real thing we can add is that if the opposing team has Piccolo and Goku, you can qualify for a dramatic finish.
So yeah, I think Raditz should have been added to base game, and this is us atoning for it.
All right, moving on to the second most popular Dragon Ball show, we're gonna go to Super with Topo or Top.
Yeah, Topo for me is my like number one wanted pick. I just think his God of Destruction form is sick.
Um, so Topo, our main plan with him was to make him a grappler.
Right. We don't have a lot of grapplers in the base game. You've got like S Broly, Android 16, and that's about it. So to add a third guy that's a bit bigger and has actual projectile options, I think it's pretty cool. However, those projectile options only come after you go into God of Destruction.
Yes, and God of that takes 5 bars to get into these because, grapplers are notorious for not having range. So you should have a pretty steep cost if you want a grappler to have range.
Even so, it's not going to be crazy range like Frieza or any of the really, really good characters. He'll have the option, but he's going to want to stay at mid range now. He'll be more of a neutral character.
Yes. For level 3, we're just going to give him a giant Hakai. Think kind of like Broly's level 3, but instead but it goes up instead of down, and it can hit the ground at the beginning.
As for a more interesting super, if you build up 7 bars as God of Destruction, then you can get a very long startup grab, which can lead to insta death.
I'm gonna call it this move. The level 7 is going to be what I like to call the Captain Falcon fallacy. Everybody likes to Falcon punch as Captain Falcon, but that move is so long that no one's gonna get hit by it. If someone gets hit by the level 7 grab, it is because straight up the person was such a better player you never had a chance to begin with.
Exactly. But either way, I think Topo would be a sick character, and we need more grapplers.
That is true. I don't play grapplers, but I can agree with the grappler boys that you need more. You need more combo fodder for me to slay. Anyways, we went to Daima, we went to Z, we went to Super. I guess we got to address the non-canon future elephant in the room in GT and bring along a character I'm surprised wasn't added yet, and that's Pan.
Pan may not be the most popular character from GT, but we'll get to that later. But she felt sort of necessary because Trunks is already in the game, and same with Kid Goku. Why not add the final piece?
Yeah. Um so Pan is going to kind of be a mix of Teen Gohan and Videl, if that makes any sense to y'all. Like she'll have normal and moves options kind of similar to Videl's, but she'll have range options more similar to Gohan and more of a bare bones simpler character.
Yeah, all not all DLC is going to be some flashy, over the top, meta defining character. Pan is simply here to be a entry level DLC character. If you want to learn the game, pick up Pan and see how it goes.
Yeah, for level 1, we're going to give her the Maiden Rush, which is essentially like the Pokemon close combat move. Like you get a Dragon Rush into a pose that's going to buff your attack because that's something that happened in GT.
Then the level 3 is a Galaxy Tri Attack, which summons Goku and Trunks to help her with. However, if you don't have either on the team, it will be just her and a slightly weaker one.
I was just going to say like you don't get the dramatic finish on someone like Janemba or someone else we have later on the list. But yeah, you get
Yeah,
them on the team and you get a dramatic cutscene if you finish it off. But Pan's a bare bones, more simple character. I kind of felt like the first 4 had to be all different reps from the shows, and I'll be honest, I didn't really have much for Pan.
same with me.
But let's move on to a character we have a lot to say about. Hail Satan!
Eh, I mean, Hercule would be the Dan Hibiki of this game, and it's not even a debate. We need more humor in something like Dragon Ball Fighter Z because the only thing close to it would be
Krillin and
like in,
Yamcha.
yeah, like Yamcha, maybe even the Chiaotzu Super. But anyway, to get a full joke character, here you go.
Like, he uses gadgets to. So we're gonna kind of make him play like a Super Saiyan 1 Goku, but, worse. Whereas we're gonna give him the Roshi gimmick of no super dash because he's using gadgets to do things. He can't use ki.
Yeah, and then we've got our supers being the Dynamite Kick for level 1, and then he has two level 3s. One's the Dynamic Punch or
Which
the I Forgot My Tractor Punch.
I forgot my tractor. Ah!
And then the other level 3 will be the Dynamite Kick Rush.
I'm just imagining, like, for this, it's a cinematic cutscene, and it looks beautiful, like a flurry of kicks from Sanji, and it's just, eh, regrets. I have a few,
I've had a few.
and they're all in front of me. His name is Hercule.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hercule Satan's meant to be a joke, but every fighting game has got to have its joke once it reaches a certain point. And I feel safe in saying DBFZ has reached that point. So let Hercule be the joke he was always meant to be.
Let him fulfill his destiny.
His destiny to get smacked into a mountain.
Thinking
Hail Satan! Gotta think of a first name. Thinking Hercule. All right. Let's get back onto some more serious characters and back to GT with Omega Shenron.
Yeah, here he is. Omega Shenron is going to have this sort of interesting gimmick in that he's going to taunt the opponent a lot because in GT, he liked to toy with Goku as much as he could, and to use that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're going to make the taunts like get under opponent's skin. And so I don't know if we should how you debuff it. I would personally say that the moves come out faster but weaker because it throws off everybody's timings and it doesn't do as much damage.
Yeah, that'll work. But another thing that Shenron will do is that he has a huge health bar because it took forever to beat him in GT.
It did. He's a big boy. Health bar be going strong. Going boing.
All right, and then as for his supers, he's going to have a dodging taunt as his level 1, and it gives debuff. So for a limited amount of time, you're gonna have a damage debuff, and if you hit him during the level 1 super, it's not going to do any damage.
I just realized we wrote what taunting does and it makes the opponent's defense go down. And we just had
Yeah,
his level 1 special be that he gets a free taunt off.
yeah,
So turning your opponents into more and more of a glass cannon, and then there's level 3, which I like to call the fuck off ball.
yeah. It's just the negative karma ball. It'll be like a super dramatic and cinematic firing of an energy blast.
And
Kind of simple.
Omega Shenron is a pretty big boy, so you know, he do be having to taking lots of hits though.
Yeah, kind of like an S Broly or
Bigger
like
than
a
S
cooler.
Broly, as it's
Yeah.
we're gonna be bigger than the Bean Soup Man for sure.
Oh boy, yeah.
All right, moving on to the character I was most excited for initially, but then a later character piqued my interest with how we made him play. And that would be Ultra Ego Vegeta.
Ultra Ego Vegeta is my personal favorite for how we made, and that's because he has a really interesting gimmick where in the more damage takes, the more damage he does.
Kind of think Lucario from Smash Bros.
Right, but his is at a more flat rate rather than Lucario's percentage base.
Yes. Um, I think the supers is where we got interesting because we got level one, which is just a standard garlic gun. TFS fans unite,
Yep.
and then
But then his second level one will be a headbutt that does damage to Vegeta, but it does way more to the opponent. It's like a grab super.
like think of it as because Vegeta's taking damage, he's getting the attack buff in the middle of the super.
It also is a bit of a reference to the manga. And if you've seen Thor versus Vegeta, then from Death Battle, then that is also part of the reference.
And here's my favorite spirit super, level 3, which is the Spirit Fisher. This doesn't do a lot of damage, and as a matter of fact, it nerfs Vegeta's damage output because it restores his health.
Right, but for gaining more health, all you have to do is hit a level 3 super, which is probably going to be very like fairly fast for level 3s.
Yes, we have officially done what Capcom never could. Make a healing super not busted.
Yes, and then there's the fact that also that without any supers, without any stupid stuff, he's already going to have super armor because that's his whole point.
Yep. Take that, Elena. We just made a character that heals and it probably won't break the game.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to my favorite spawn camper of all time, Super Android 13.
Super Android 13 was actually one of the hardest ones we had to design because neither of us have seen the Android 13 movie in a long while.
My most recent viewing of the movie was the Team 4-Star Abridged, and hence the joke of he's spawn camping. Poor Goten.
Yeah. But we ultimately we ultimately decided on a counter based style, sort of like a Jiren in the actual Dragon Ball Fighter Z, where he's gonna try and goad you into attacking him,
So he can
and then
grapple you and
just
get his combos.
exactly a little bit different from Jiren because he's gonna be bigger, a bit slower, but he's gonna hit harder for sure.
And of course, for the absolute disrespect, level 1 has to be the spawn camp of Goten.
And then his level 3 will just be a pile driver, similar to something like Potemkin or Iron Tiger.
Now, before we mention it, yes, we will have him lecture you about your $30 haircut before the fight starts.
Yep. Especially if it's Super Saiyan Goku, then he will actually say the line.
Yep. Moving onward to my favorite type of joke, a discount joke. Turles.
Turles is another character that I'm surprised didn't get added to the actual game. But the thing with him is, if any of you have seen Thorgy Arcade's video on a One Piece Fighter C, Turles is essentially his pitch for a Hody Jones. And that's where if he eats his fruit of power, then he loses his max HP, but he buffs his damage.
He's kind of like Ultra Ego Vegeta, but he has to eat the fruit for the buff.
Yeah, there's no like canceling it. He has to take a full bite.
He doesn't get health regen. His bar will get physically shorter for eating the fruit. So, you can't regen back to full either by sending him in the back. And just, he's gonna play a lot. His supers are just Super Saiyan Goku's reskinned, and his level 3 is the Stomp into Ki Blast. What can we say?
Yeah, no, but I think Turles is such an interesting character for the from the movies that I think he should have been added. But that's a whole other topic.
Yes, it is. And with Turles being done, we are officially over the halfway mark. I would say
Woo!
that, but Super Android 13 was the halfway mark. Moving on to our 11 to our I cannot do math. Moving on to another one of the characters I was looking most forward to making, Gamma 1 and 2.
So Gamma 1 and 2 are not two characters in one. Think of it's not like a double entry. We're not cheating here. This is still one character, but think of it as like an Android 18 from actual DBFZ, with Gamma 1 being the leader and Gamma 2 coming in for assists.
Yes. So the way you're going to want to play this is that Gamma 1 is the mid-range fighter with the blaster, and you're going to want to summon Gamma 2 to go in for the rush as your close range option.
Yes, see, Gamma 2 is try and open up your opponent's defenses to allow Gamma 1 to start the combo.
Yes. A level 1 is kind of going to be like a beam assist with the blaster. That's just, a simple level 1. And you got 2 level 3s here.
One level 3 will be a tag team beatdown, again, kind of like Android 1817. But then, if you want to really go for it, his other level 3 will be Gamma 2's dive bomb against Cell Max, where it's going to do a butt ton of damage, but you're going to lose your close range option.
Yeah, like you're essentially just nuking it.
Yeah, this is the ultimate I'm taking you with me move.
Yep. So that's Gamma 1 and 2. Up next we have I think this character honestly ended up being my favorite to design. And that is Shallot.
Charlotte is from the Dragon Ball mobile game Legends, specifically the story mode. His whole technique is that before the fight begins, you get to choose what transformation you can use in battle. You can choose Super Saiyan, which is basically just a straight buff. It's not going to be too much, but it will give you a slight speed and power boost.
It's just your safest bet. You're then you can choose Super Saiyan God, the red-haired version, not the blue-haired version. I know my channel name, but we got to get the redheads appeased somehow. Soulless bastards.
Yeah, especially because they're actually not in DBFZ.
Yep. For the God form, you kind of get more of a zoner playstyle with a speed boost and far more projectile options.
And then finally, your third choice would be Great Ape. It's only a level 7 move. You don't fully transform into the Great Ape for the rest of the fight, but it is going to hurt like a mother if you land it.
If you landed instant death, or near instant death. So,
Yeah, and then you'll allow the actual shallot to finish you off.
yes. So what you essentially have picking for here is, do you want Super Saiyan 1, which is just a safe, straightforward buff to Shallot as he is? Do you want Super Saiyan God to give you zoning capabilities and let you play for range? Or do you want to risk it for the biscuit and take the Great Ape form?
Again, another Duke option.
Yep. Up next, I'm I'm kind of disappointed we didn't put Turles and this character together, because you can't have turtles without slugs.
So Slug was another kind of tough character to design, but I do like his concept. He will be a zoner, but instead of throwing projectiles, he throws around his own body.
Cause he, way more so than Goat Piccolo ever did, stretches himself.
Yeah, he uses the Namekian body transformations to its fullest capabilities, and through that, he puts Goku through a beating in the movie.
Yeah, his his projectiles, I guess, being his arms and legs that can stretch. We're just making this guy Luffy. Wow. They still have
Yeah,
normal projectile properties, but you can hit the sides of the arms for some chip damage.
yeah, and despite the fact that they are his arms and legs, he can't grab with them, and they still have normal projectile properties. Like you can still block them, you can still reflect them. They're not going to be any. They're not going to be too much.
Yes. His level 1, we're going to have the I beam into what I like to call the get over here. He shoots you with his I beam, and then he grabs you and pushes you closer to the arena. Arena 4, if you have
Then you can, yeah, go ahead.
4, if you have more bar, you can do a squish after level 1. Make Goku's ribs your favorite rubber duck.
And then finally for his level 3, as you can see there, he's going to just grow super huge and launch a nuke from his mouth.
Yep. Slug is the ultimate close combat zoner. I wonder if he I wonder if he's going to end up like Remy in Street Fighter
Oh
3.
boy. Yeah.
Up next is a character I'm surprised was never added, and that is Super Boo.
Super Boo is actually one of the highest requested characters from the original DBFZ. The only reason I could ever fathom is because, well, we have two Boos already. But this Super Boo is going to be unique amongst his brethren.
We have 2 Boos already. Why do we want a third? I don't know. We have 8 Gokus already. Why do we want a ninth?
Yeah.
I gotta dunk the Goku.
So the gimmick with him is that every time you defeat an opponent with him, it has to be with him. You gain their level 1 super. You'll have a level 1 super um, as an anchor for yourself, but as a point or a mid character, any character you defeat, you gain their level 1.
Yes. His level 3 regenerates health. This is just strictly for himself. This is no one else.
And it doesn't have armor on it. You can hit him out of it to stop the regeneration.
Yep. You still get whatever little health you did regenerate, even if they do manage to hit you, but you don't get to go through it fully if you get hit out of it. Super Boo is just gonna kind of play like Kid Boo, but with other people's supers.
Then also as a level 1 when he's an anchor, he'll just shout and it's like a big shockwave.
Yeah. Moving on to a character I'm kind of surprised we put on this list, honestly, but I can see it. Thank Devil Artemis for this one, and that's Zarbon.
So Zarbon, it's another transformation character, sort of like Daima Vegeta before him, but there's no playstyle changes, only frame data changes.
Yeah, we're gonna have like base Zarbon kind of show off and be too slow with his moves. So the reward for getting into Transform Zarbon is just faster combos. You want Transform
That,
Zarbon because he plays like an actual character.
yeah, but you're on a timer because just like in the actual Dragon Ball Z, Zarbon can't keep that form for very long.
Level 1 can be charged for more time if you're willing to take it apart, and his level 3 is a Ki Blast into a pile driver into Vegeta's technique.
Yeah, just like you see in the Vegeta versus Ugly Zarbon fight, round 1.
So naturally, you can tell this won't work. Moving onward, we're going to go back to the original Dragon Ball because I'm so surprised that there is not a single character from it. And that is Demon King Piccolo.
Yes, finally some more Namekian. But so obviously he's going to get a dramatic finish with Kid Goku. Um, that's just a given. But then you've got the fact that he's going to play a lot like his son Piccolo, but give him Roshi's lack of super dash.
Yes. He has good armor and is an all-arounder, and his level 1 is what I consider to be the most painful thing in the OG Dragon Ball, which is Goku getting shot in the chest, and if you have additional bar, he can get elbow barge the opponent in the chest.
Level 3 is going to be a simple get
Weak
big
boy.
stomp on him.
I'ma stomp ya.
Yeah, no, it is basically what you see in the Budokai, where Piccolo Jr. gets really big and then stomps on adult, on like Teen Goku.
My goodness, I could have just called this Step on Me Daddy. I
Oh my
missed such an
lord.
opportunity for comedy.
Ha
Anyways,
ha.
moving on. I think this is our third variant of Vegeta. One, two.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our third variant of Vegeta, and we only have one Goku variant. So, Vegeta fans start winning because we know Toriyama wasn't gonna let us, and that's Majin Vegeta.
Majin Vegeta is just going to be a slightly more unga bunga version of Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta from actual DBFZ.
Yeah, the main difference here is that he's faster, and his supers. Level 1 is going to be 3 big bangs that'll equal the big wing of regular Super Saiyan Vegeta. All 3 of them will
Level
equal
3 will
1 big
be,
bang. Yes.
yeah. Level 3 will paralyze the opponent into a gut check punch, a la the Goku versus Majin Vegeta fight in the anime.
And then level 7, if this opponent gets charged up, it is a full screen kamikaze. There's no way to block it. Just damage. You lose Vegeta, but the other guy also loses a character. A character for a character.
Exactly. And if they're both anchors, then Vegeta technically wins.
I mean, I would always say that the person who threw the last punch is the winner of a fight.
Plus,
But
you can get a dramatic finish if you like, where he gives off that stupid smirk of his.
Trunks, my son, I don't fucking love you. I never hugged you in your life for a reason, you idiot. You're a purple haired bitch. Anyways, moving
Man.
on. We have our penultimate character, Bojack.
So I know that Blue Fang here has some beef with the fact that full power Bojack looks like that, but I'll let him tangent later. Despite being such a huge lad, he's going to be a zoner because that's what he liked to do in his movie.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Um, uh, Uses his wingspan and explosive moves for keep away, and his cronies are keep away. Kind of think of him as like Ginyu with summoning the Ginyu Force. His cronies are going to operate a bit more like that.
Yeah, and then you've got level 3 is a full power Bojack rush. He'll he'll get rid of the bandana and stuff for like a minute so he can go full power, but he puts it back on after it's done.
Because he looks so much better with it on! another another level 3 he'll have is the crony rush where all the cronies get at you, then he just steps on you into a key blast, hence Dami Mommy. God,
And then a level 1 will just be a simple grab into throw super.
yes. Now I must point out, I have him in his default form. Why? Because I think it's very rare for a Dragon Ball character to have that shit on. He has that shit on. I like the fit. Why the hell did he get rid of it?
I don't know, man, but that shot of him in this cloudy sky with the dark shading, it looks so sick.
I know! You don't have to preach to me, that's the choir!
It's kind of like with me and pseudo Super Saiyan from the Slug movie. How have none of the Dragon Ball games used that form, even though it's one of the coolest looking forms?
April Fools, we're changing. Dude, even DBFZ, you can just change Goku's hair to black for a skin and we'll count it. Like, that'll be a nice little Easter egg. We don't ask for much.
But yeah, BoJack, a really cool character and big body zoner.
Yep. And the final character, the man who wished for everything, Granola. That is how you spell it,
See,
according to the manga.
yeah, Granola. Um, well, me and Blue Fang agreed by the time of this, um, the super. like the anime will have caught up to Granola's arc, thus he could be released without spoilers. And his main thing is that he's going to be awkward, but he's still going to be like viable.
So, in the manga, Granola simply wishes to become the most powerful being in the universe. He doesn't really know how to fight, but he has so much power that, to quote, I think it's Craig points, there's a certain point when the difference in power is so vast that a participation that one person can participate and that's enough to win. So he's kind of going to operate like an all-arounder, but he's going to look really janky with his moves.
Yeah, sort of like Tronbon from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, if you know what I'm talking about.
Because her build is more like a stockier, lower hitbox kind of build, and she has just a bunch of awkward moves to deal with. That's what it's going to be for him. His moves are just he's going to play like an all-arounder, simple to perform, but just kind of awkward with how he hits and goes about it.
Yeah, his hitboxes in game look weird, but they're not going to act weird. He's only weird in execution,
Yes,
or in in animation.
in animation. Level 1, I see his fingers. I think of my favorite anime. He's going to get the Spirit Shotgun, which is just Vegeta's technique, but through finger guns. And
And then
then,
his level 3 will be yeah, level 3 will be a Shenron summon where he goes for a dragon punch. It's not going to be an actual dragon punch like from Goku, but it'll look like it.
yeah. So, that's kind of it. We don't really have much more to say about Granola other than he wished for power without knowing how to use it, so this is what he gets. Okay, this is
And
Bob.
there we have it. That is all 18 of our proposed.
That is all 18. If you comment down below which fighter was your personal favorite. I'm pretty sure Pop Tart is still going to say Ultra Ego Vegito is his favorite fighter gimmick.
Yes, that is correct. I loved designing Ultra Ego Vegeta.
You see, my personal favorite's always been Hercule Satan. No one can challenge that man in strength.
That is fair.
But if we're going by my favorite two design wise, I think I'm going to have to go with Shallot. I
All right,
like
that's fair.
I like the idea of just being able to pick your I like the idea of having to pick what strategy you're going to go with before you get into a fight.
So yeah, there we have it.
Took us 40 minutes to get through 18 characters, but hey, there you go. Pop Tart, you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm just gonna say see you later, friends and enemies alike.
And I'm going to say fuck you.